Hello, 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 Stampin' Friends. This is Carone, your ATX Stampin' Lady, coming to you live in the craft room. Guys, I'm a Stampin' demonstrator, and I'm here tonight to do a little crafting and creating with you. But before we do that, guys, today is National Lipstick Day. Whoop, whoop. You guys, I posted in the group this morning about the giveaway for and the prize, you got a prize if or entered into the drawing to win a prize if you posted a picture in my Facebook group in the crafting with Carone. If you posted a picture with wearing your favorite lipstick and your favorite lip shade, let me know what your shade was. Well, unfortunately, nobody posted beside myself, so I don't have a giveaway for that. But I like to give you guys things, so I'm going to make, for my viewers, I'm going to make 2 of the cards tonight. Only one I'm going to make on video. One I'm going to give away to a person who interacts with me the most in my Facebook page, and then the person who interacts with me the most on my YouTube channel. As always, videos that I post on my Facebook group, I also post on my YouTube channel. So if you are watching from YouTube, don't forget to do hashtag replay, hashtag YouTube, hashtag I watched live if you watched live, that kind of thing, to let me know. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't found me yet on Facebook, once you do, in the craft room with Carone, don't forget to follow me, like, for more inspiration as we move forward in our crafting journey. So as always, you guys, there's a host code. If there's any of the products that you see that we're using tonight, go ahead and shop on my online store using this month's host code, and this month's host code expires on the 31st. Don't forget also that July 30th is the last day if you're wanting to become a VIP customer of mine, to place that order if you have not already ordered with me, to get your free September to December mini catalog. So Stampin' Up! Does a program where by the end of the month, this month, if you are my VIP customer, well, they don't do the VIP customer part, I do, that they will mail out catalogs. Now that's better for me, and that's better for you. One, I don't have to order the catalogs myself, and then maybe potentially have to charge you shipping to get them to you. This way, Stampin' Up! Gets you the catalog out in time, in a timely manner, and you will have that in your hand. Versus if I have to buy the catalog and try to deal with the postage myself, I don't get the benefit of the bulk media mail like Stampin' Up! Does. So it would not be free shipping. So anyway, if there's anything that you see tonight that we are using, feel free to shop using the host code. Excuse me. And we will more than likely be entered into the drawing. Okay. So tonight's project, I posted it earlier. I love the card. I saw it from one of the artisan design team members, and I posted it in the group today, and I told you guys we would go ahead and make that card. It's nothing hard, but I liked it enough. I wanted to do it, so here we are creating that card. The products used in tonight's video are the Poised Peony set, and we've used this before. We've created cards with this before. And this designer series paper, which is frames and flowers. Now, part of the frames and flowers, there's 6 sheets of pattern paper, one each, 3 of double-sided designs of 3 double-sided. So there's your 3 of 3. 1, 2, I think there's like 6. Oh my god, I can't speak. 6 sheets of pattern paper, and then there's 3 of single design stickers, laser cut, die cuts. And so that's what's making this card so easy. So you guys, if you don't have this set, it's a very simple one. It's a beautiful one, but you can put together some really quick cards just using the Designer Series paper. So that's what we're going to do tonight. All right. So here's what we're going to need to create this card, okay? We're going to need the Poised Peony. Let me just mess with the lights here just a little bit. The Poised Peony stamp set. It is a cling mounted stamp set, and we've used this, as you can see, it's got a little bit of love. Okay. The card base that we're going to use tonight is Lost Lagoon, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's what we're using. We've got 2 pieces of basic white, and we're going to need a third for the inside. I didn't grab that. But these were 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Now, how did I come up with this measurements? Because if you saw in the video that I posted, the Artisan, they did not give you measurements. So I simply just took the paper and in the video, the image covered the space left by the cutout, and so I just trimmed and I trimmed and I trimmed until I got a piece that seemed to fit. So it ended up being about 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so let's get started with creating this card. Okay, and it's not going to be that difficult. We're just going to stamp 2 of the same images, which is the larger peony flower that's in the stamp set. How's the light doing, you guys? Are you guys seeing okay? I know I turned off the light, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys are able to see. We're going to stamp 2 of the same flowers, and we may end up trimming this down just a little bit. I'm not sure. Make sure we got good ink transfer. And I am going to heat emboss because I'm going to color with alcohol inks, and the VersaFine, the pigment inks, they take a little bit longer to dry. So to go ahead and use the markers immediately while I have not heat set them would cause it to bleed, and I don't want to do that. So I am gonna heat set them or emboss them with clear embossing powder. That also makes the lines, the outline portion of the die or the stamp set, it just makes it shine and shimmer a little bit. So it makes it shine and gives it a little bit of shine and shimmer, which is always great as far as adding a little bit of bling to your project as well. Okay. Heat embossing is one of my favorite techniques. I do it a lot. Almost every single card I make, there is an element of heat embossing in it, whether it's just a sentiment, whether it's an image that I'm going to color, whatever it is, there is always an element of heat embossing in all of my projects. Okay. Oops. got my little desktop vacuum here. Alrighty. All right. All right, so these are, I'm going to turn the lights back on just because I need to be able to see as I'm coloring. So we're going to color these two exactly the same. This is what they did. And the colors that I'm going to use for coloring with my Stampin' Blends are for my leaves, it's going to be Mossy Meadow, light and dark. And it's going to be the Peach Pie, and maybe the light and or the dark of the Calypso Coral. Not sure yet. I know I'm definitely going to use the peach. I just don't know about the coral. So when I start to color, generally I will start with my darkest color, and I will use that dark color just primarily to outline and share where my darkest or my highlights and shadows need to be. And that's how I color. Okay. And the thing about coloring also that you'll notice is you try to use and incorporate the artist's lines. Wherever the artist has drawn what should be shadows, that's where you should be adding a highlight. And then if you're a little bit more advanced in the coloring, one of the other things that you probably want to consider is where's your light source coming from? That also helps with determining where and how to place your shadow colors. A lot of what I've learned about coloring, I've learned from one of my friends, fellow stamping friends, Gail Tassie. She's really good at coloring. So thank you, Gail. I also learned a little bit about coloring through Kitten Clowder. I took a couple of her classes. They were online classes, and I think I did very well. So every once in a while, I will just break out something. I love stamped images that I can get to color, because I always try to keep in mind, well, where's the highlights coming from, and try to incorporate some of those things that I've learned. All right, so once I've done that, I'm just going to go in with the light Mossy Meadow. And color it out. I'm using the brush tip. So just to remember when you're using your brush tip, you don't need to press very hard. That's a tip for that. Because you don't really need to press very hard. I'm guilty of this, and I try not to do it or to adjust. So when I'm coloring, try not to go over, um, not to blend it out too much. I am a books on tape, an audiobook listener. Are you an audiobook listener? I'm into Michael Connelly right now. He's the artist or the author that I'm listening to right now. And sometimes you can go back over it, but not all the way. And it looks like it will create like a third shade. You'll see what looks like you see it looks like a third shade. Now, ideally, when you're coloring, especially with alcohol inks, it's ideal to let your color sit for a little bit to dry in between coats. I never have time to do that while I'm on videos, so they don't ever dry in between. Nothing wrong with coloring right over it, but the color just works a little bit better if you if you kind of go over it after it's dried a little bit. All right, so I am starting with the Flirty Flamingo. I'm starting with the light Flirty Flamingo, and I'm starting with the light because it's always easier to add a color than to take one away. Right? So I figure if I start with the light and I see how it works, I don't know. Okay. So I started with the light. I'm going to go in light Calypso Coral. And I'm going to color, I'm going to add the dark Peach Pie. And when I do that is I'm trying to see if how much of a variation in between the shades that I have. And that'll kind of let me know if I need to add the dark peony, the dark peach pie. Because I want to make sure that I'm seeing the transition in the colors. So I did go a little bit darker. All right. So now we know we're going to start with that. So let's just lay down this color on the second image. And if you watch the video that I added to the group earlier this morning, you'll see how they colored and how they made the card. So I'm not really trying to make this a difficult project, because it's really not. But mostly I find that when I'm talking through videos, I didn't realize I could talk so much. I really don't like to talk. That's funny coming from someone that works in a customer service center, right? I don't like it. My poor parents. Why do I say that, right? Well, because I'm on the phone all day. I don't really like having long conversations, and I work less than I work less than 10 minutes away from work, and so by the time I'm done with that, if I call you in that time frame and you don't answer, I'm really not expecting a call back, because the amount of time that I wanted to spend on conversations is pretty much expired. I know, right? It's just horrible. When you're on the phone a lot, really honestly and truly, you're really not wanting to spend a whole lot of time on it. You just want to make sure that you can see the color transition in the leaves, in the rose petals. And then I'm just going to go in with the light peach pie and go over the entire thing. Oh, and that's done. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go back in with the light Calypso Coral. Any Detective Bosch fans out there? Going with the dark. Those are the Michael Connelly books that I'm reading right now, Harry Bosch series. You know, he's also the author of, if you're watching them on Netflix, what's the name of the guy? Oh my God, Mickey Holler. Oh, what is he called? The Lincoln Lawyer. All right, so there you have that. We're done with our coloring. And we're almost finished with this card, you guys. 100% we're almost done. So the next thing I'm going to do is, of course, I got to add me a little bit of Wink Stella. So don't forget, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And then while you're hitting the subscribe button, don't forget to go ahead and hit the little notification bell. When you hit that bell, you will be notified as I post new content to the channel. If you're watching me on Facebook, don't forget to turn that follow. And when you click those little hamburger buttons there, don't forget to click on it where you can see all the posts, not just your friends' posts, because you might miss some stuff if you haven't changed or adjusted that setting. Alright, so we're done with this. And the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to put this together. But we're going to, before we do that, we're going to grab I'm going to grab a punch. But you guys can grab some dies if you prefer to die cut. I might have to go with the dies. It all depends on how this is going to cut for me. So I'm going to grab my 2-inch circle punch. I think that's where I'm going to go with the 2-inch. Might be too big, the 2-inch. And I'm just going to line, oh, that's perfect. I'm going to line this up. And then I'm just going to punch this out. Just like so. Now, if you want fancy edging, fancy stitching, you can definitely use one of the die, whether it's the, oh my gosh, I want to say Nested somebody of it, but I can't remember. Before I move forward, I'm going to grab put it on the back of this. And I'm going to use whatever's left in my blue blending brush and just add a little bit of sky and soften that just a tad. Okay? And that's all I'm going to do. You see the difference how when it's the white, and this is still white, but I've softened it just a little bit. It's not so stark. Okay? So that's what we have there. So now let's go ahead and put this card together. Because that's all we need to do, except, oh, no, it's not. Let's, because I will forget. Grab my twine. I have my little box of twine that I put somewhere. I apparently have hidden it from myself. Which is par for my course. I hide things from myself all the time. There it is. I'm going to grab some linen thread. Yeah, let's just use it. And we're going to try to do a bow here. You know what? I bought this thing to use it. So let's see if we can make it do what we need for it to do, right? Gonna do that. This is my little bow maker. Make sure we center a little knot here. And then we can snip this off. Now, why did I keep that so long, right? I did it long for a reason. So I'm going to put these right here. And because of how I just did that bow, I'm going to use the legs. I'm just going to wrap it around. Right. Grab a piece of Scotch tape. Keep that in place. Make sure our little bow is where we want for it to be. And then wrap the other side. I always keep Scotch tape in my craft room for this very purpose, okay? Alright, now we can trim this end just to minimize some of the bulk on the back. And there we go. We'll straighten that out in just a minute, okay? Perfect. And then we're just going to line this up. Ba-da-da-ba. Try to make sure it's as, there we go. All right, that's how that's going to fit on there. And let's grab some dimensionals. We all know I like to pop things up. I just do. I love it. I do. I'm going to pop the rest of that up too. Okay. Trying to make sure that we line it up perfectly. Okay, that goes there, that goes there, and there we go. Okay. All right, so now we're going to put this in place. Let's go ahead and fold our card base. Again, this is an 8.5 by 5.5 card base. Scored at 4 1/4. Sorry, got something popping up here. And what they did in the video was they put dimensionals on this. But I think I'm going to put that there. And then just put this on dimensionals over here. Look at that. Isn't that just a cute little simple card? Now what I'm going to do too is I'm going to do this. I'm going to soften this white. And again, I'm just using the remnants of some blue, and I think this was Pool Party that I had on my brush to all right. I might just pop that up anyway. So let's use this. I'm also going to put some around here. Okay. Now we're just going to align this on here, making sure we're somewhat even top, bottom, left and right. There we go. Seems about even. And then we're going to add some dimensionals here to finish this card. All right, the only thing that's missing is our sentiment. And we can go ahead and finish that off. Okay. So if you are watching on Facebook, you need to comment to be entered into to win the card tonight that we've created on Facebook. Comment. What do I want you to comment? Hashtag Facebook Live or hashtag Facebook. Just hashtag Facebook. If you do hashtag Facebook and I see it, you'll be entered into the drawing to win a card. On YouTube, do the same thing. Hashtag YouTube. Then you'll also be entered into the drawing to win there as well. All right. Now we need a sentiment. So we're going to do 2 winners, one on each of the platforms. Well, I think maybe I'll not put a sentiment on this. What I'll end up doing is I'll stamp out a couple of sentiments. I'll send them with the winner. And you can decide what sentiment you want to place on your card, because it'll be your card, okay? So here's the card that we created tonight. Very quickly, this is a little bit of a spotlighting technique. And I'm going to add, and I'm going to be mindful of where I'm placing my gems because I'm not sure where the sentiment is going to go. So I'm going to be mindful of where I'm placing my gems. Oh boy. I had a weird day at work today. Really, really weird. Not bad, not good, just weird. You know? Have you ever had weird days like that? I see the adhesive is kind of shifting on this one. Get rid of that one. Okay. All right. So this is all I wanted to share with you guys tonight, how I created this card. And it is, again, from one of the 2024 Artisans design team members from Stampin' Up! And so I shared the video with you on how I did this. If you are interested in the products, they are on page 29 of the annual catalog, 28 and 29, I believe. And they're not sold as a bundle, but it is a stamp set, which is Poised Peony and the Flowers and Frames Designer Series paper. Guys, if you are watching, thank you so much for your time. And I bid you guys a very good evening and happy stamping.